Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to 5 more great games at the Dice Tower. I'm Tom Vasel, and joining me today is...
Hi, I'm Ryan.
Ryan, who is half of the dynamic duo of Ryan and Bethany, is joining me for 5 more great games. Folks, this is a series in which I take a look at 5 games that didn't make my top 100, but are still fantastic for whatever reason. And I just bring along someone for the ride, see if they've played games, and if not, try to convince him to do so. But before we jump into that, Ryan, tell people a little bit about yourself.
So my wife and I, we've been playing board games together for about, since before we were married. But I would say we've been in the hobby for about 8 or 9 years. About 3.5 years ago, we decided to start reviewing some games and talking about games. Having a lot of fun doing it. She is definitely the more critical one of the two of us. I just love everything between, from thematic stuff to cooperative stuff to strategy stuff all over the place. We like doing some occasionally some comedy skits and that kind of things. We've done some stuff with Eric Summerer and, We Game Together and Jordan Plays Blue and a lot of those people having a lot of fun doing it. So, yeah, we try to do just talk about board games. We just love talking about board games.
I feel like I could break you of liking everything. Just 2 days, I could show you a slew of games that are horrific. I don't know if I'd be able to because I get rid of them, but you never know. Some of my playtesting nights were done and we're like, whew, but not these games. Oh, people are saying I'm louder than you, and that is legit. I will drop myself down. There we go. Okay, so let's talk about these games, folks. I'm going to take a look at these games, and I'm going to try to guess if Ryan has played it or not. If he has, he'll tell us what he thinks of it, which better be that he likes them. Well, it will be, because we know he just said that. And if not,
we'll see.
Convince him to play it. So first of all, let me jump to the right screen here. We're taking a look at Star Wars Queen's Gambit. Star Wars Queen's Gambit here, which, by the way, it says was re-implemented by Star Wars Risk Edition, which is somewhat true, but it's not quite the same thing, although you will notice it made the top 1,000 at BGG, which is pretty high. But Star Wars Queen's Gambit, I'm almost hesitant to talk about this game because it's so hard to find. It's out of print, and it always will be. It will never come back in print because no one cares about this movie anymore, and the rights for it, it's just an IP.
Right.
But in this game, you are playing one of 2 sides on a 3D board. This one is using blocks. Why would you use blocks over miniatures? Come on. There we go. These are actual. This is what the game looks like, except for that dragon on the side there. All right. Anyway, the game. This is the game. It looks that good. It's fantastic. It uses a little card system. It's a very simple game in many ways, but I think it brings that final 1/3 of Star Wars Episode 1 to life. Now, guessing whether Ryan has played this. This is a tricky one because it's a very rare game. To buy it, you have to pay a considerable amount of money. It's one of my holy grails in Dice Tower Library. But you might have had a friend, and this is the kind of game that if you do see it, you're going to want to play it. But I'm still going to say that no, you just haven't had the chance to play it yet.
That is correct. I hate Episode 1 with a passion. Jar Jar ruins everything, and I know he's not necessarily a part of this, but I just looked it up again, and the cheapest one I found was $350. No one in my gaming group or gaming club either has it or is willing to bring it along to a public game night. This is one that I have not played. From what I understand, I think I would really dig it. But yeah, it is too expensive. But man, just tons of minis. It just looks fantastic. And I love how there's simultaneous, different battles you're doing kind of all at the same time, which I think sounds really neat.
Sure, and whether you like Jar Jar Binks or not, and I get that people don't like him. I'm not a big fan of him myself. He's not in this game, although you could pretend one of these Gungans is him, and every time one dies, you're like, yeah, Jar Jar's dead. But I still think Episode 1 gets a lot of hate. I think the Duel of Fates music is amazing, one of the best pieces to him. And the lightsaber duel between Darth Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan is amazing. And there's a lot of cool sequences in that setup, and all that feels like it's in this movie. Like these battle droids, they're cool. I like battle droids. They're neat. The whole droid army thing is pretty neat. And the Theed Palace, this is just really cool. So if you can play it, I recommend it. But you're right. You said $350 is what it was?
That was the cheapest one I found.
Whew, I better put a ball and chain on the one we have here in Dice Live, especially since I got it painted.
Yes.
So, all right. Next, we have Innovation. Now, there are multiple versions of Innovation. They decided to show you the most boring box here. This is from Asmati Games. Now, Asmati Games, they kind of thrive on this. They thrive on all their games looking, no frills, essentially. This is what the game looks like. Yellow made a nicer version of it. I like the nicer version better, for sure, these cards. But this game, if you play it with 2 players, more than 2 players, it's super chaotic. I really like the back and forth here. You use these cards, look at these, they have meld, and there's a terminology in here called splay, where you spread your cards out. You're trying to have more icons of different types than your opponent so you can do these cool special abilities. I'm going to make another guess here. This one I think wouldn't attract you because it looks boring. So I'm going to say you haven't played this.
Wrong. I have played this one. And ironically, I'm not a huge fan. It is all about finding one of those broken combos, right? And as soon as you find one of those, you're done, either from the winning or losing. It's not like you luck into those things. It feels like, to me at least. I like how some of those innovations you can get by other card play as opposed to just earning them the old-fashioned way with symbols and everything else. I like the splaying. I think that's really fun, being able to show those different symbols. But once you have a majority, it's really hard to take it away from you.
I don't disagree with that. It's just that I feel that the game, because, yes, if you have a majority, it's hard to take it away from the other person, but there are multiple ways to win. There's like 8 different ways to win the game. And I never feel like I can't find some sneaky way to win. I think there's more strategy than people think. And even if I do lose, I just play again then.
Yeah, that's true. It's pretty quick. Like I said, I like the splaying. I like the trying to find those combos, but it can be really hard when you just not, you can play it for an hour and just never feel like you had a set of cards that worked for you. And that can be a little frustrating. Or in the reverse, if you find one that works really, really well, you just keep on milking it over and over again. It's not all that satisfying of a win either. It feels like, to me at least. The gameplay is fun and it is clever, and I like some of those like the splaying.
I think it's the most controversial game on the list. Not controversial, divisive. I think divisive is the word. Most people I know either hate this or love it. Very few people are in between.
Yeah, it feels like, it's one of those games I call them like the rich get richer and the poor get poor. It's one of those kind of games to me, which I don't like that in games. I like having a little bit of a catch-up mechanism or something, and it feels hard to come back from behind in this one.
All right, Unmatched. You've played it.
I have.
Okay, I just said that because I feel like everyone has played this one at this point. This is a very popular game from Restoration Games. This one's another re-implementation of a rare game, Star Wars Epic Duels. Or if you
but that too.
or even rarer, did you play the Transformers one?
I did not.
You could even, back in the day, you could mix the Transformers one with Star Wars, which makes no thematic sense. But they redid Star Wars Epic Duels, and in my opinion, it's better now. Unmatched, this is the original box here, where it's Medusa, Sinbad, Alice in Wonderland, and King Arthur. And you pick one of them, you have a deck, you might have some sidekicks who you fight along with, and you're just trying to take out the other person. And then they added a lot of expansions. I think I've played 1 or 2 of them, and there's a lot more that I'm frankly far behind on this game. I need to catch up. I'm looking forward to the Marvel ones a lot. So what do you think of it?
The ones I'm familiar with, I've played the Jurassic Park one, which has 2 factions, the Raptors versus the Engine Corporation, and then I've played Deadpool. So that's I'm not even sure that one's out yet, but it's coming out very soon if not. And I think they did a really good job of actually finding a little bit of balance amongst the mix matching. Sometimes it can be hard to find that mix up, find that balance. And every one that I've played, every match I've played has been, an interesting way of winning. Either winning by way of decking someone, culling their deck down, or winning by way of taking their health down. It feels, the little board, kind of like a miniatures game, but not really. Also, the card play is where it's all at, and each deck is so unique and different that it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, really cool game, and looking forward to see where this one goes in the future. Then we jump to... I'm sorry?
The Deadpool deck, by the way, is insane. It's wild.
I'm always worried about Deadpool because there's so much fourth wall breaking at Deadwall.
And that's happening all the time. But it's all very PG for one thing. I want to mention that. But it's also very funny and strong, I think.
The next game is a game that more people should play. Chocolate Factory. What a great game here. In this game, you are getting chocolate, getting cocoa, turning it into chocolate, wrapping that chocolate, and packaging it into gift boxes. You do so with special abilities, but it runs down a conveyor belt. Let me see if I can find the conveyor belt for you, what it will look like. Well, here's the different players. You can see the conveyor belts in front of them, and you put the chocolate on that conveyor belt, move it down, and then different cards are going to change this into that. This one did not get a huge release, so I'm going to guess maybe you haven't played this one.
That's correct. I have not played this one.
Do you like engine building games where like this card lets you change this to that?
Love them. Mm-hmm.
I really think you would like this one then because it has that in it, but it's tied to the conveyor belt. So you see here in this picture, there's a conveyor belt at the bottom. When the chocolate's on the first one, I can use those first two cards. Then it moves to the next one, I can use those cards. And you're timing things so that you can set it up so that the chocolate becomes, different qualities and quantities at the end so you can fulfill orders that are here in the middle of the table. It's a great theme. I mean, who doesn't? I shouldn't say who doesn't like chocolate. I know some people don't. But it's still a great theme.
I like it too much.
Yes. Well, I like it on ice cream a lot. So, fortunately, the ice cream expansion hasn't come out of this yet. Definitely worth getting.
Yeah, it's got almost that like I don't know, oh my goods kind of vibe to it too. It looks like just from looking at that
with a moving mechanism in it. But yeah, oh my goods is a good comparison.
Yeah, I think I dig that.
All right, we're jumping to Smallworld, and again, I'm not going to pause here. You've played it.
100%.
Yeah, Smallworld from Days of Wonder, and man, there's so many versions of it. I mean, they have the Smallworld and the expansions, the deluxe version, the World of Warcraft version just came out. Did you play that one?
I haven't played the World of Warcraft one yet. I saw it. I thought that one actually appealed to me more than the original, actually. But I haven't actually played it yet.
Yeah, so in this game, you have a small world. You can see this is one of the boards here, and you have a different civilization, but they're made up of combinations. This is based on a game called Vinci that originally came out, and that had the same thing, but with an actual realistic background. This is more fantasy, and it just works a little better. Great art, lots of fun. Your civilization's eventually going to go into decline, so you got to basically give up on them and start a new civilization, like the Commando Ratmen here. All sorts of combos in this game. I really like it. I think it holds up well, and it plays at all player counts excellently.
I agree. I think the map shrinking size, was no one was doing that at the time, as far as player count, which I appreciated. I think that I haven't played it as often recently, and sometimes it's one of those things where you get those broken combos in there as well, but it's only going to last for a couple of rounds because of eventually going to go into decline and you have to get a new one anyways. And usually if there's a super broken combo, you might have to pay a little extra victory points to get them. So that kind of helps balance it out as well. And some of those combos are just a lot of fun to play, even if they're not necessarily successful. Oh. Yeah, it's been a little bit since I've played. I have a few of the expansions, and the more you can mix and match, the more chaotic and more fun it is, I think.
Yeah, the only problem with having all these expansions is having to look up. You need a good reference guide at that point to do it. All right, folks, I'm putting the poll in the comments. This is a chance for you to vote on which of these is your favorite. So go ahead and vote. And while you're voting, what's your favorite of these, Ryan?
I would say probably Unmatched.
Okay. I can see that. And a good thing for you then, because this seems like it's only in the middle of its lifespan, because these games do die out after a while, and there's a lot of content available for it. What do you think the people are going to say? I think Star Wars: The Queen's Gambit is talked about so often just because it is so hard to get, but I don't think a lot of people have actually truly played it. So
Uh, Innovations on the older side. I think most people have probably heard of or played Small World. So I'm going to probably say that one's going to be the favorite of the group. Um,
I
Probably be,
wonder. I'm going to vote for Unmatched, I think. Because it's newer and I've seen it in a lot of stores and such.
that's true.
All
I would
right.
say that Chocolate Factory probably at the bottom of the list if I had to guess. Followed by Queen's Gambit, number 4. Innovation in the middle.
Actually, I think innovate. Well, we'll see. Let's find out. Da, 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 da. And you were right. Small World wins, and Chocolate Factory is at the bottom. You had it. You had it in like perfect
5 for
order.
5. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that was going to be. You were that good at that. Let's
I got
see.
my finger on the pulse.
You do, huh? I thought Unmatched would be higher, but again, Small World is quite a few people play that. Huh? Well, that's interesting. Well, there you go, folks. Thanks, Ryan, so much for joining us today. If people want to
Thanks for
find
having
you,
me.
where should they go?
Yeah, my wife and I are, we contribute to Board Game Breakfast, so be sure to check that out here in the Dice Tower. But also, we have our own channel, Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews, on YouTube. And my wife's always putting up fun photos on Instagram. We are at Ryan_and_Bethany.
Alrighty, folks. Thanks so much, Ryan, for coming on. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We're going to be back in just 45 minutes on the Dice Tower with Shoots and Marbles, the greatest marble racing on a board gaming channel there is. We'll see you then. Until next time, I'm Tom.
I'm Ryan.
Have fun in the small world, after all.